It is evident enough that the LGB plus TQ minus IA divided by 2 spirited multiplied by pansexual. Excuse me. I meant it is evident enough that the LGBTQIA plus groups are the preachers of false gospel who are desperate to find believers or devotees to their religion. If you do not believe or agree with their preachings, you become the most hated to an extent that they wish you do not exist. We have seen this with the protests of these groups against the University of Cape Town for having allowed access to the campus, Professor Patrick Lumumba. According to these groups, the university should not have allowed him to access the campus simply because he is one of the people who publicly disagrees with the LGBTQIA+. And he has publicly said, even on the interview with SABC, that he supports the bill which has been signed by the president of Uganda, which is against homosexuality. Take a listen at Professor Lumumba.
Many people say this is a violation of the human rights.
On that one, I agree with President. It's not about President Museveni. I personally have supported President Museveni on that bill.
So as you have heard him saying that he's in full support of the signing of that bill by the president, the LGBT says that this person should be or should have been denied access. So I'm gonna look at this closely according to their own analogy or system of thinking, exemplary way of doing things. It means that when you disagree with someone, then that person should be blocked and not given access to public spaces which are available to everyone simply because you hold a different view. And these groups are the ones who are always playing the victim card, the minority. They use that card of being the marginalized minority. So if we are to use their system of thinking, system of workings, that when you hold a different view, then you should be denied access, wouldn't they be the ones who will be crying because the nonsense which they are preaching, it's quite a few number of people who agrees with them. So then it means then they should be abolished. They should not be given access to universities, to jobs, to everything else when we are to follow their example that because you hold a different view, you are not wanted. Is that what they want to push here? I don't think that the world can live and operate in a peaceful way when someone holds a different view or an opinion. They should be denied access to public spaces. I don't think the LGBTQIA plus groups have thought this very well because you can disagree with someone, but that doesn't mean that person should stop existing, should stop accessing public spaces. We should not be promoting such message. So this is one of the examples. This protest is an example to show that this group of people, they are so concerned about themselves. They want everyone to agree with whatsoever nonsense they are saying. They want everyone to embrace and feel pity for them always. If you have a different opinion, then you should be discarded, which is very wrong. And I hope the community of people who are having sense will start to see and realize that these people always plays or shows the victim card, whereas they also have got very dangerous example to set on the community that when someone do not agree with you, then that person should stop existing. And as I've listened or watched this interview of Professor Lumumba, I like that he stand with what he says. He doesn't get to be intimidated that because maybe he's speaking on a television interview, then he should start to change his tone and try to be politically correct and make his message to be more sweet so that he will be liked by people. Because as you can take a listen, I want you to listen to this, and then you will hear what they're saying here about imposing one's ideas or opinions to someone. But with this, he says it with regard to the journalist. But let's listen at what he has to say.
And the danger, including with you journalists, is that now when you interview people, you have your own position that you want to impose on us. We refuse.
See what he's saying here. I think it's very right that the media, it's quite unfortunate that the media is being used in a way that it supports LGBTQIA plus community, which is very wrong, because the wrong part of this is because they are agreeing with it. Anyone who has a different opinion, that person becomes an enemy. That person should not be given spaces because he holds a different opinion. But it's not only the media, it is the media together with these so-called activists. They are the ones who are pushing this agenda that once you have a different opinion, then you become an enemy. You should not think, you should think the way we think, which we are all different. When imposing their ideas to you doesn't seem to be working, they try to impose them indirectly by using an entity which they think it is the Almighty. They may quote a famous person or someone they regard powerful in order for you to agree with them because that person or that entity is saying this. They may go as far as quoting the Bible to try and support their agenda of LGBTQIA+, of which the Bible on its own is against the idea of same-sex marriage. But they will go as far as quoting the Bible or quoting Pope, that the Pope has said this and that about the LGBT, supporting it. And then they are expecting you to believe in their religion and support them because someone whom they regard as their God or I don't know, their symbol of authority, and then everyone should agree with them. Same with this lady. Take a listen at what she has got to say.
We know.
In the United Nations Human Rights Council.
But the United Nations Human Rights Council, is it some god? Is it not a body that is composed of human beings who have created a body where some are permanent members and some are not permanent members?
Do you see that? I refuse to agree with the nonsense gospel of the LGBTQIA+. Same as the professor said, we refuse. So it is that thing. She tries to use the UN because to her, I don't know, she thinks the UN is some entity which should not be disputed, some entity which everyone should follow and agree with. Even the countries which are signatories to the very same UN, not all of them are applying everything the UN says. But then she decides that because to her this is some kind of a god or some kind of an entity which everyone must follow, she tries to corner him with that. So they are good with that. They may try to use some terms, whatsoever thing, in order to win the battle. Another tactic which the LGBTQIA+ loves to use in order to win the debate is the victimhood. They like this so much that once they've ran out of all ideas and debating points, they will resort to using victimhood. As you can hear this lady while she interviews the professor, take a listen, then you will hear what I'm referring to.
Life.
Including that they must be killed.
Who said they must be killed? No, there is nobody who has said that they must. I want you to read the law. They have not said that. Nobody has said that.
Do you hear this lady saying that the LGBTQIA+ people should be killed? Did the professor say that he wants these people to be killed, or he simply said what he has said? And then, but she tries to portray a message that the professor is saying or the president of Uganda is saying, are saying that these people should be killed. Is it factual that it has been signed into law that people who are in the LGBTQIA+ should be killed? No, it's simply this assumption, the fiction which is playing in the heads of LGBTQIA+ people who are trying to play this fiction to everyone so that they will see that, oh, these people are victims. Don't try to be a victim when you are not a victim.